Hello, everyone. This is Lenard Guzman here with Emily Robinson on the Life After D podcast. We're here on May 25th. Summer's coming, I think, and it's getting hotter here in California. No fires yet, I think.
Thank goodness.
So everything's okay, Emily, on your side?
Yeah, we've had a couple fires, but not near us yet. They've all been in other cities. Hopefully we don't get any soon. Yeah, my kids are finishing school this week for the summer, and I'm just excited for summer. I love the warmth and the sun and just being able to be out in nature.
Yeah, I was out in nature. I went to Arizona, like we were talking about earlier, and there was this weird thing. It said, "Don't start fires." I guess if you drag your chains, right, like on the car, that sparks, create fires. So it
Oh,
said,
interesting.
like, don't drag your chains, which you don't see in California. It's like an Arizona thing.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never seen a sign like that.
So I did see a fire off the freeway coming back,
Oh.
and yeah, it was. I don't know. There's no wind there. I don't know. Like you don't hear, oh, Arizona fires, but that's for Arizona residents. So let's put. I guess you're putting out fires too when you're going through marriage and divorce.
It's true,
So
a different
yeah.
type of fire.
All right. So let's get into the news today. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Um, this is interesting. Okay, let's get into this one. Okay, so what is a gray divorce, and is it really a growing trend? So in this part of the show, we go over the news, and today the Bill Gates, Melinda thing is just trending, and I guess is a trend now. Okay, like about divorces. So this is according to um, Deseret News. Okay, I guess it's out of Utah. By Kimberly Holmes, the sudden Bill and Melinda Gates divorce announcement after 27 years shocked the world. It's also drawing a renewed attention to a growing alarming trend in the U.S. known as gray divorce. While the number of divorces overall has declined in America, the number of older couples divorcing has rapidly increased. In fact, the divorce rate for people over 50 is more than doubled since 1990. Stress on marriages have sharply increased during the pandemic, and the legacy media has embraced this phenomenon as not only normal but even beneficial. Now, gray divorce has also become an unexpected virtue. People magazine is touting the Gates separation agreement as a explanatory job of resolving their issues. That's not a necessary word. And an opinion writer for NBC argues that for many, a gray divorce means a newfound freedom and flexibility as aging adults increasingly reject the confines of empty shell marriages in favor of autonomy and independence. But that type of self-focus is actually what is contributing to the rise in older people divorce, which impacts younger generations. Studies have shown that one of the top reasons given for divorcing a spouse is that the individual felt they were growing apart and the marriage no longer felt personally enriching. Is this a trend? Gray divorce? This is the first I'm hearing it.
It is. It is a trend because a lot of people wait till their kids are out of the house. They don't want their kids to go through it. And with people living longer these days, and we have so many advances with medicine, even if you're older, you don't want to spend the rest of your life unhappy or miserable. And so I think people are, still deciding, hey, I'm going to divorce. And no matter how many years I have left, I'm going to enjoy them. So I definitely see a lot of gray divorces, and I do think that it is a big trend. And then I see a lot of gray remarriages, but those people usually want to get a prenup because you at that point have like earned your living, you're maybe retired and you don't want to, intertwine the finances.
Makes sense. So maybe people, I don't want to say great people, you know, probably getting more, you'll get calls from here like, hey, I know what that is. I know great, that's my demo. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
there.
good
I'm starting to turn gray. So
one. Ah, you wouldn't
yeah.
count as a gray divorce yet.
Okay. All right, let's go to BuzzFeed. I haven't gone to BuzzFeed.com in a while. So 18 divorce lawyers are sharing the most outrageous reasons people got divorced. And I'm lost for words. Woman divorced her husband because he refused to treat her like how Christian treats Anna in 50 Shades of Grey. So being a divorce lawyer definitely seems like one of those jobs where they are rarely even ever bored because they're bound to hear some juicy stories throughout the day. This is your life, I assume. Okay. So here we go. So here are so it's definitely a challenge to pick some of these juicy stories, but here are 18 of the most outrageous and petty reasons why someone files for divorce. Let's just go over a few. It might take us the whole day, but let's just go over like 5 of them or 6 of them. Let's see how fun it gets. Okay, number one. One of our clients thought his wife was having an affair. She would actually just go driving around for hours of the night playing Pokemon Go. Who knew? Who knew that would, okay. Number 2, every morning, this couple would sit in the bathroom together while one of them had their morning dump. One would sit on the toilet and the other would sit on the edge of the bathtub. This particular morning, the wife was on the toilet and the husband was on the edge of the tub. They started to argue about the relationship. So the wife reached down, pulled out her tampon and flung it at him. He filed for divorce the next day. Oh man. Yeah.
Ew.
Okay. Number 3. My mom is a family law lawyer. She told me that a man divorced his wife after she broke her jaw in a car accident because she could no longer give head. Okay, this is like I'm gonna on YouTube. We have to do the no like no children. It has to be
Yeah, this
over.
isn't a
This is
family-friendly
yeah.
episode.
Okay, number 4. At my last firm, a couple did their will with our firm. They were married 40 years total, divorced and remarried once. The husband wanted us to put in his will that his kids get his entire estate, but did not want us to tell his wife. He wanted to make a secret will and a fake will. The phony will would be signed by her present, and then it would be shredded. He would later come in to sign the real will. He copied his wife on the email that had all of his information disclosed in it. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
all right.
Wow.
Yeah, and it says 2 weeks later he called us and said he wanted to file for divorce instead. Okay, number 5, a couple got divorced over a cat. The wife called the cat Snowball because of its white fur, and she only wanted it to eat wet cat food or chicken breast. The husband called the cat Lily because of the white fur and believed it should only eat dry food. They argued for a year over custody of the cat and did not give a SH about their human kids.
That's crazy.
All right, one more. 6. My dad was a divorce lawyer and had a client who wanted to divorce her husband for 2 reasons. The first being that he did not have enough hair on his chest. That's like someone like me. And the second being because he didn't drive fast enough. Yeah, so keep in mind that this was in the 70s when chest hair was a bit more important.
That is so funny. So, I mean, I don't know if these are all true or not. There are certainly crazy reasons for divorce. You know what's funny is I would say maybe like a third of the time, the clients don't even tell me why they're getting divorced. Like, I don't even know. And they don't want to share it. And I don't push it because it's, not really my business if they don't want to share it. I certainly haven't had those specific scenarios. But I have had interesting ones as well. But look, it's a no-fault divorce state. You can get divorced for any reason. You don't even have to have a reason. You can just feel like it one day. So, it sort of reminds me of like an episode of Seinfeld where he can find something wrong with every single person he goes out with, she's a loud chewer, she's this, she's that. But then it's like, why did some of these people get married in the first place? You knew he didn't have a lot of chest hair, so why beforehand? Like what? But, people are gonna do what they want to do.
Maybe like the husband had hair like when they were young, and it's
Oh,
like hair like on
maybe.
your head and just falls off. No,
Do you
like
lose chest hair though? I didn't think you did. I thought you got more hairy as you got older.
no, yeah, it's like when I have this joke where like God's a comedian because like with men he makes men like like the most visible baldness, like he doesn't, like God was like I'm gonna just do that but not take the baldness anywhere else, like chest,
I know it's so
leg,
unfair,
like
right?
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. So that's how I thought, God was a comedian. Okay, so next story. So for like military families, like my family, my father was in the Navy. So it's from military.com, another life event stalled by COVID, divorce. Fewer military members divorced in 2020 compared to the other recent years. New data from the Pentagon shows, but rather than signaling better marriage relationships for military families, the dip is likely linked to less accessible divorce proceedings during the COVID-19 pandemic, said Benjamin Carney, a researcher who has long studied military marriages for a Rand Corporation, closed offices and delayed court proceedings, made filings for and getting divorced harder. He said divorces are costly, and divorces require you to do stuff. You've got to go and meet with lawyers. You've got to sign papers. And when the country and the world is shut down, all of those things are harder. Rather than those divorces being completely eliminated, he said researchers instead expect the rate of 2021 to bounce back, and then some. What you'll likely get for 2021 is divorces that were postponed in 2020 and all the normal divorces for 2021. So is that is that, so is, like, I mean, this is for military families. I mean, they're probably like overseas. There's like probably complications there, but is that like overall, is that a trend we're seeing?
I don't do a lot of military divorces, so I'm not sure. I do have some military divorces, but they're more like people who aren't active duty. I definitely think it's different if you're active duty. And I think, in general, it probably is harder to access resources during COVID for divorce. But I also think that there are also some different military rules as well that can apply to divorces. So I think, you know, for example, we're a no fault divorce state. You can't get in trouble for having an affair, but you can if you're in the military, not in your regular state divorce, but the military can impose some kinds of punishments on you. So I don't know, those things affect the divorce rate as well. So, but I think the general trend is that divorce slowed down a lot during COVID because people did not have access to the court or resources. And after COVID, they're just sort of blowing up. But I think military, if you're active duty, there's an automatic stay of the proceedings, meaning if you don't want to deal with it while you're deployed, you don't have to. You can stay the proceedings till you come back. So I think there's probably a lot of things that affect the military divorces.
Okay, I had no idea. Um, okay, let's get to some celebrity divorce gossip here. Heidi Klum's ex-husband Seal shocks fans with post-divorce comments from HelloMagazine.com. Do you have a favorite Seal song?
I love Kiss from a Rose. That's probably everybody's favorite Seal song.
That's
But
the
I
first
love
song that came
Seal.
to my head.
His voice is so beautiful.
All right, let's see how he is as a dad, though. I foresee some bad things. Okay, so Heidi Klum and ex-husband Seal. I never knew like what his last name was. I never even bothered to check. So Seal, okay, have
I
been
don't think they
co-parenting.
tell us. I've ever told us.
uh, Co-parenting. Oh, so they've been co-parenting their 4 children for nearly a decade following their split to 2012, but the passing of time hasn't made the experience any less challenging. The British singer, 58, shares Lenny, 17, Henry, 15, Johan, 14, and 11-year-old Lou with Heidi. They were married in 2005, but called time on their marriage after 7 years. In an interview with Us Weekly, Seal, oh, there we go, real name, Henry Samuel. Okay. Was asked about their co-parenting arrangement and admitted it can be challenging. It requires teamwork. If you're a team, if both parents are a team, then it is really easy, and that's not a real challenge at all. He continued, but you have to be a team, and if you're not a team, then it can all fall to pieces. Asked if he and Heidi are a team, the London-born musician candidly replied, "No, I never had the teamwork with Heidi. We never had teamwork." So last year, Heidi had to request an emergency hearing to allow her to take her 4 children to Germany with her to film. Next top model in the film. In the filing, she stated that Seal did not want the kids to travel over concerns about COVID-19. Yeah, so I guess it was the opposite. Seal's a good parent.
I always wonder how did they come up with their stage names, But yeah, it's interesting to hear like when the celebrities do the same stuff as everybody else. I'm always filing motions to allow parents to travel or stop them from traveling because it's not safe or something like that. So I guess the celebrities have to do it too. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'd always heard in the past that they did a really good job co-parenting and they got along and all of that. So, but you never heard any of like the bad allegations about either of them like you did about Brad Pitt and all that. So, I think he's probably a good parent. She's probably a good parent and it just didn't work out. But, I it's just so different when you're a celebrity kid because you have like 15 nannies and you can live half the year in one country and another country. And, you know, being a bad parent, there's so many levels. There's like you're an abusive parent to just like you're an absent parent to like, you're just not feeding your kid, you're feeding your kid too much sugary food. The levels of what one spouse considers a bad parent, they vary a lot. So most parents are decent parents and don't fall into the like neglect abuse category.
I've always wanted ice cream for breakfast. Have you done that yet?
I did. I let my daughter have an ice cream sandwich for breakfast. She was so happy. My husband was not happy with me.
A sandwich, it's like a breakfast sandwich. All right.
Really, what's the difference between ice cream and frosted flakes? I mean, come on.
Less sugar. I don't know. Sugar bombs. All right. Man, we are running behind you. We're getting through so much like the news. This is news all day. Okay, so let's get into the part of the show where it's called Dear Emily, where people post. And Emily goes and gives advice to people going through, whether starting the divorce journey, whether there's, alimony questions, child support, or a lot of the times it's just mental health. So let's get to the first post here. This is a post titled "Why the Cruelty." My wife of 7 years and mother of 4 kids cheat on me with my flesh and blood brother, made up false accusations, and is me dealing with 2 court cases right now. For context, I work 70 hours a week to keep up her lifestyle and allowed her to get away with slacking off the entire time. I accidentally got her pregnant. when she was 21, and immediately moved her in and made sure she never had to worry. I could understand a simple divorce. I offered to pay her house, a new car, take care of the bills, and split custody 50-50. My only stipulation was that the kids were to never be around drugs or felons, and that I would get educational and medical oversight, private tutors, good schools, etc. She turned it down. She wants sole custody and erased me from the kid's life like a reset button. So she made up stuff which I have solid proof against, and I'm waiting for a hearing. But I don't understand why she hates me so much. I gave her everything and tried very hard. We had every luxury she could want, and now she's being very cruel to me. I don't understand why. What did I do that was so terrible? And do I deserve to be humiliated and attacked?
That's so hard, but this does happen frequently where people make up stuff. I mean, there's a few reasons. Maybe that is her perception, like people aren't always rational. Maybe she feels he did something bad to her, and maybe she thinks she's got her reasons for it. Another reason is mental health issues. Sometimes people really have mental problems and they perceive things incorrectly. Another issue is she could be using drugs or alcohol, which changes your perception. Um, and another reason is sometimes people make stuff up because they know if they get full custody, they'll get more money for child support. And sometimes people just think they deserve full custody. They shouldn't have to share their kids. Not that any of those things are right, but that happens. So that's why I always tell people, like, look, don't spend your time trying to change the other person. You're never going to be able to. They are who they are. Spend your time working on yourself, figuring out how to react to them appropriately, and protecting your kids. It's all you can do.
All right. So next post, last post today. Is it wrong to get divorced because my husband doesn't help out with our kids enough? I've been thinking of a divorce more and more lately. My husband and I have been married 6 years and have a 4-year-old and 18-month-year-old. To put it bluntly, he doesn't help with anything or do anything. He will only sew stuff if he's asked, do stuff he's asked, and even then it's met with resistance. He doesn't do laundry, cook, grocery shop, pay bills. I'm so sick of it, and I've had so many conversations with him about it. I've shown him the mental load comic, and he hasn't changed. Not only that he has a horrible attitude and is in a bad mood 80% of the time. I've tried to say counseling, and he refuses. We just sold our house and are staying with his parents while we house hunt, and I fantasize every day about just finding an apartment and leaving with the kids. Occasionally we will get along and have good times, and I immediately feel remorseful about wanting to divorce. I'm so confused. So here's more information. I'm the primary earner, and so finances are not a concern for me.
Wow, that's hard. Sounds like maybe he has some depression or something. Look, it's not wrong to want to leave an unhappy situation. But she's not thinking of leaving because he's not helping. She's thinking of leaving because the not helping causes resentment for her and makes her feel unimportant, like he doesn't feel she's important and doesn't appreciate her. And those are all serious issues. So no, it's not wrong to think about leaving. If he won't get help or do therapy with her or talk to her about it, that might be her only option. But sometimes filing for divorce is the wake-up call that the person needs, and then they do go and get help. So, maybe she has to just pull the trigger and then see if that makes him, go do the things he needs to do to fix the relationship.
Yeah, I mean, get him a Red Bull or something.
Right?
That's what I do. I have some cup of coffee or some sort of caffeine. I'm doing dishes, I'm cleaning, I'm folding laundry, and so yeah.
We're all busy and exhausted, working, professionals or working parents. You got to find something that makes you happy, even if it's something small, like going outside for 10 minutes and watching, like the butterflies, or Like, it's silly, but I saw a praying mantis the other day. I never see those. And he was stuck in like a little, for like a crack in the bricks, and I went and I saved him. It like made my whole day. I was like, I did something productive today. Like, find the little things in life that make you happy, and do them. You owe it to yourself and to your kids and your wife and your husband.
Yeah, it feels like a good swimming day. I don't know. It's like sunny.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's
So
a good swimming day.
yeah, so we're gonna end the podcast here so I can go for a swim, maybe jacuzzi. Then my pool's open. I think they're redoing it. Whatever.
Nice.
So Emily, anything before we close the podcast? Certain dates coming around. I know school here in Los Angeles is like gonna end, and then summer starts. Like I think
Summer
I've heard from
start.
teachers, yeah.
We're looking at things going back more normal in the fall, so that'll be nice. And the courts are still kind of doing their COVID protocols, but maybe that will open up as the state opens up. We'll see. I haven't heard anything, but I'll update you when I know. I think probably we'll stay through the summer on the COVID protocols, but maybe as things open up more, then it won't be as much Zoom court and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, if you get out of California, it's like you go into stores, you're like, oh, like people feel like I guess COVID didn't exist. So
I have these nightmares that I forgot to put my mask on, and I walk into a store and everybody starts yelling at me. Like, it's like a recurring nightmare I have at night. So weird.
I get. I mean, I heard I think other some groceries are like not making you. It's required, but then they say you got to wear a mask. It's mandatory. So it's kind of like conflicting. But I played safe. I'm like I don't. I'll get it delivered or I'll wear a
Yeah.
mask.
Well, since I broke my knee, I haven't gone anywhere really. So I haven't worn a mask in a long time, but I've done more DoorDash in my life than I've ever done.
Yeah, you're in a forced quarantine. Like you have to stay there, and so we'll
But it's
see. I
kind of
guess
nice.
you're gonna have to wait.
It's kind of nice though. I'm forced quarantine, but I'm home alone all day because no one else is forced quarantine because they're all at school and work. So it's just me and the dog, and it's kind of chill. I like it.
Yeah, it's like when you're single and life was so simple.
Right? And you can be like, oh, I'm gonna take a break and watch an episode of TV now, and no one's bugging me. It's nice.
But you will have to wait for Disneyland, I think, for a while,
I
unless
know.
you do the wheelchair thing, which looks miserable. So
Yeah, not looking forward to that. I know. It's a bummer.
we'll talk about it more next week on the podcast. So thanks so much for listening for the Life After D podcast, and we'll see you all next time. Bye bye.